So I'd like to take you back now to when you first started, when you were a teenager in Liverpool. What was the music that you were listening to at the time, and then what inspired you to, join the band or start a band?
Well, we were, in school, a lot of my friends, a lot of Andy's friends, they were kind of listening to the music at the time, really. And a lot of it was prog rock, Eagles, Genesis, this kind of stuff. And Andy and I were just kind of a bit bored with that kind of stuff. And then we heard Autobahn on the radio, like Kraftwerk in 1975. Mm-hmm. We were both absolutely blown away with it. We just thought it was the most amazing record ever. And so we started looking towards Germany, and there was a great import store in the centre of Liverpool where we were. And in this import store there was it had massive success in Germany. So Andy and I used to kind of do anything we could, like paper rounds, gardening, anything to make money to be able to go buy these imports that were expensive. Mm-hmm. So we just collected all these imports, and we listened to not only Kraftwerk but Neu and La Dusseldorf and Cannes, and everything that was going on in Germany in the 70s was brilliantly, forward-thinking and futuristic. And it was just it was sort of the antithesis of what was going on in America at that time. And it was exciting, it was futuristic, and so we thought, well, we need to make this kind of music. I mean, Andy and I were playing just for fun in a prog rock band ourselves. But we were writing songs for, and it was kind of quirky, but it was rock, really. Yeah. And so we used to stay behind in the band's rehearsal, Andy and I, and tell everyone we were just writing some songs for the band. But really, we used to be doing our little electronic experiments. Mm-hmm. That were, and we didn't have any money, and we couldn't afford a synth, so my hobby was electronics, so I made a whole load of, we used to call them noise machines, and we used to do echo units, stuff like that, and just be experimental, and then we started turning those up into songs, and then we got someone who dared us to go on stage to, which was supporting Jordivism, right. And which was our first gig, and to play our electronic experiments, and then we kind of jumped the band. We jumped the rock band and carried on just with the two of us.
So did you realise at the time what you were doing was quite groundbreaking? Because I know you didn't have a traditional band lineup when you started using Winston and a tape recorder. And at the time, there was a lot of fuss, I know, from people like the Musicians Union saying that synthesizers were going to kill live music and real musicians. And, even to the, the record sleeves of the first few albums were quite, groundbreaking in a way. Did you realise what you were doing was, radically different? Or
not really. I mean, I guess it was sounding different to most of the music around at the time. But to us it kind of made sense, and we were just kind of excited by what we've been hearing from Germany and what we kind of emulated in some way. But also, we kind of started this whole duo thing, and like just two people and technology. But we only started that because none of our friends were into electronic music. They thought what we were doing was weird and just rubbish, really. So we couldn't find any more musicians in our area that wanted to play with us. So there was only the two of us. So we thought, well, what can we do to perform live? Well, we'll have to use a tape recorder to have the drum tracks on and all the sequences and things. And so we kind of started that duo thing. So it was just me and Andy and the tape recorder. But yeah, the Musicians Union hated us for it. We were just up against it with them all the time. They thought we were taking jobs away from musicians. They didn't realise that there was no musicians who wanted to play with us for that.
I know at the time what you were doing was an inspiration to me, because I grew up in a small mining town, and trying to find somebody else that liked the same type of music as me. And so when I first heard your records, I thought, hey, you don't need a traditional band lineup. I can start writing songs for myself and, record backing tapes and whatever. So, your band, I have to thank for, getting me into, music and writing songs to start with. It was a great inspiration for me.
Oh, great, thank you. That's very nice of you to say.
So going on once you'd started this, and then you obviously started building up a following, at what point did you sort of sit down and think, we've made this? Was there a certain point when you thought, this is what you've been striving for, this you finally reached, fulfilled an ambition?
Yeah, well, we were never ambitious, Andy. Now that's the funny thing. We were just doing it because it was kind of our art and it was our hobby and it was what we loved to do. But because everybody around us kept telling us what we were doing was rubbish, we started to believe them. So we just thought, well, it's like our little indulgence, really. We never, ever in our wildest dreams thought it would be like what it is now, a 33-year career. Yeah. I mean, we thought this one gig we were going to do to put Joy Division would be, we'd be found out in a way as not very good.
Well, so you're still doing, so something must be right with it.
We must have got something right, but we were never, it was never, it's not like now with the celebrity culture and, people use music to become famous. That was never our intention to ever become famous. And if you look, we've never really wanted to be famous people. We wanted our songs to become successful and everyone to sing our songs, obviously, and enjoy our music. But as people, we've always shied away from as much of that as we could get away with. I mean, obviously, we've had to, interviews and perform on television and stuff, but it was never, that was never really, it was never our motivation to do it. And you can look at all our record sleeves, and we never had our faces on our record sleeves up until, certainly not on the cover anyway, up until the Best Of album, where the record company insisted they wouldn't put it out unless mine and Andy's faces on the cover. So we had to reach that point. But that was 8 albums in, so we managed to get away with it. Great. Not put our faces on the cover.
Yeah. Looking back over your career, what would you say you were most proud of? And is there anything that you would do differently if you could, go back to those early days?
I think probably the only thing I would have done differently was get a better lawyer when I signed to Richard Branson's Virgin.
Yeah, so it's always the legal or accounting problems.
I'm sorry?
It's always the legal or the financial problems that seem to look with the music.
Yeah, it was because, our original deal we signed for 7 albums, 10 albums with Virgin, on not a great deal. And it just wasn't a good deal, really. And when we got successful, we managed to improve it a bit. We had to give away other things. And that was a constant struggle because we didn't start making money until the band stopped, really. We made a lot on City and Gigs and Little League and stuff like that. And we're all really comfortable, so it's not a problem. But in the 80s, it was a constant struggle because we were trying to put on a great show live, but then we'd be losing absolute fortunes and we'd be borrowing the money from the record label but paying it back at a terrible rate. So we were chasing our tails a lot in the 80s and we didn't necessarily have to financially. It would have been better if we got a better deal and then we could have done more. Because we've always invested hugely in bands because we always wanted to do things well or not at all.
You just touched briefly upon Pretty in Pink there, and I was just wondering if you'd ever been approached to do other soundtracks, because I guess the type of music you do would lend itself to sort of film scores. Have you ever done any other soundtracks or been approached to?
Not really. We've done a few adverts and TV shows and stuff, but we've only really, we had a song in the Couple Girls was in Weird Science, we tell you this a lot. We had If You Leave in Pretty in Pink. And there's some various other bits and pieces, but really, I've always thought OMD could do a fantastic film for us, but because we've done all these beautiful soundscapes over the years, but we never really had any placements of our songs in films either, which is weird. But it does, you're right, it does lend itself to film, but no one's ever made us the offer, so we've never done it.